The first handshake line of the NHL playoffs, VGK closes out the Jets in decisive fashion, and now they will wait and see what opponent they will be playing in the next round.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco along with Chris Golick. You could find us on Twitter at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G, and on the YouTube channel Locked On Golden Knights. So, Chris, VGK with a dominant performance, a no-doubter as they closed out the series. They closed out the Jets 4-1. 4-1 was the score also in the final game in game number 5. And you have to hand it to Bruce Cassidy, who said that he wasn't, he really wasn't kidding around when he said that this team knew exactly what was at stake. And I felt as though VGK really made a statement early, and it was the dynamic duo of Chandler Stevenson and Mark Stone in both the first and second periods. Stevenson with the give and go goal from Stone 50 seconds into the contest. That more or less set the tone, and that was pretty much all she wrote, because it really did deflate. You could feel the Winnipeg Jets. And then Mark Stone, off of a turnover, capitalized, and he scored the goal 42 seconds into the second period. So why don't you talk a little bit about your impression of not only the series, but the final game and the closeout by VGK, and they got the job done.
Yeah, so I guess most recent last impressions first. VGK was able to close out the Winnipeg Jets, missing 1/3 of their defensive units, and also inserting Will Carrier back into the lineup and pulling Phil Kessel out. We'll probably hit that a little harder maybe in the next segment. But point being is this team is deep. There's options. They have choices they can make. And who had Shea Theodore missing this game tonight? Nobody had Shea Theodore missing this game tonight. There was no discussions about that. There was no conversations about that. Braden McNabb, it's been public knowledge, he's got a rib thing going on. So this is a best of the best case scenario. As Vegas gets the first handshake line, we are no less than a week away from the next time the VGK is going to hit the ice, which there might be a little rustiness. And we've seen what happens when VGK has long layoffs when they're here in Vegas. So hopefully they get their honeydew list all caught up and stuff, and then they get a couple days to focus on hockey, leading up to whenever Series 2 starts.
Remember how weak the VGK was back earlier in this season in the second period? Well, they seem to have turned that around. They lead all the teams in the playoffs now with 10 second period goals. So they really have turned that around, and that's been a major difference in their second half success. It really has been.
Yeah, that demon's been exercised, and that's definitely a good thing, along with winning home games too. So, it's all working right now. You mentioned credit Cassidy for spinning the dials and doing what he does and finding ways to maximize things out of this deep lineup. I say deep because we can't even get Bluger into the lineup, along with Dorofeev and Paul Cotter, who might crack the lineup in a few of the other at least remaining teams in the playoffs that are most likely to advance. So it's all good right now, and obviously it'd be remiss if we didn't think about the next round right now. And at the moment it seems like Edmonton, but they got to win a road game in LA, and there's a good chance that series is going to go 7 games. And if it goes 7 games, anything can happen. And who doesn't love a game 7 overtime, especially when it's an elimination game that features one of your two opponents? So we can hope for that. But first, we need the Kings to extend that series, and then we can talk about that later.
I did expect to see more hits in the finale. It was
Winnipeg
just
was
about
gassed,
50,
Tony. I said this. They were gassed.
No. You did say that after it was 1-0. Said VGK.
No, I said that. I said that I think Winnipeg doesn't have much effort at all. But yeah,
right. They're ready for the links, with their wives dressed up as the
They bought their
caddies
golf
and the
clubs.
masters.
They bought the golf clubs. They're in the plane.
Okay, I just wanted to ask though too, because they did spend a couple of days here. Was this a Jack Eichel guilty game? You have to think about that. Were there flu-like symptoms for the Winnipeg Jets?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, just Winnipeg, you saw it in the last game. I mean, they got that goal to make game four somewhat exciting near the end, but it wasn't a Winnipeg goal. It was a fluke tip in by Pietrangelo, first off his stick, and then he fails to convert on the junk ball. So, and credit the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, they played 8 minutes without the goal. Without the goalie, they got one goal and one fake goal. So, that's they had some bite at the end there, and they tried to mix the game up with some rough stuff, but this was not the same Winnipeg Jets team that we saw games 1, 2, 3, and even game 4. So you knew they were in trouble. They got Ehlers back out there, but he didn't look himself. He took a shot. What was that, early in the first period? Blocked the shot, and that stung him pretty good. He's like, "Why am I even back out here?" Like, you saw the look on his face. He just looked so disinterested in being in the game when that happened. He's like, "Really?" So, just you got to credit VGK right now. So many people were thinking Winnipeg was going to at least make this a close series. People were thinking Winnipeg was going to win this series. Some clown even said he would lick the carpet at the NHL Network if the VGK beats the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, you can go on and on and on here, but credit the Golden Knights for exploiting the situation, for changing their game on the fly, for finding speed through the neutral zone, converting rush chances. They got some power play goals, not enough, but they got some at least. One tonight, so that's a good momentum, boost for when we go to the second round. And it's all good right now. It's all good. You just hope these injuries are nothing long term, and obviously we'll hit that in a little bit.
Well, we can also talk about that injury later on in the game, off the stick of Alec Martinez, the deflection by Dubois, and it catches Keegan Colasar. It appeared to be right in the neck area, like
Yeah,
off
but
to the
he
side of
came
his
back.
neck.
He's fine. He came back. He's good. He's a
Got to have
hockey
a
player.
nice welt there, no?
And no, so there's a story behind that. Alec Martinez and Phil Kessel, they're really, really close. And
Mm.
Alec Martinez was trying to, just get one off Colasar's dome so he can get Kessel back in the lineup.
Was Kessel at the poker table or was he on the bench tonight?
He's probably in the press box. Probably in the press box.
Okay, so the defensive pairings were pretty interesting. Of course, the top pair with Martinez and Pietrangelo. Then we saw it was Hutton and Pahal. Pahal got a chance to play, right? Braden Pahal had an
He looked good.
opportunity,
He
even
looked
had a
good. He
scrap.
was scrappy. He was
Yeah,
scrappy.
and then and Haig and Whitecloud. And I think the two veterans need a little bit of a break, probably the most there when
They
you
do.
talk about the defense
They
with
do.
Martinez and Pietrangelo, and even on the goal tonight, or I should say we're recording this on Thursday night. Even in that instance, we saw where Alec Pietrangelo was a little bit late getting back. So he definitely needs a breather, and all those minutes, I think, really, truly did catch up. When we return here on the show, we're going to be talking about, we actually are going to give you our 3 VGK stars of the opening series. That's what we're going to do. And we'll get to that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. For a championship team, it's all about making sure that every player is the perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your automobile, to your vehicle. Every part just needs to fit just right. So the next time that you need parts and accessories, you should go to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you could make sure that every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add to your ride in My Garage, and then you can look for the green check. If you go online, you will know exactly what we mean, and that will be the exact part that fits, or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop at eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back into the game in no time at all. And after all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you much for making us your first listen wherever you get your podcast each and every day. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Of course, coming up in a short while, it is that time of the week once again. WTF. These weeks just fly by, and all of a sudden, like Chris goes, no, it's Thursday. It's not WTF. No, it's WTF day. So WTF to you, Mr. Chris. So what we wanted to do in this segment, we wanted to talk about our 3 stars, and we might differ, our 3 stars for VGK for the series. So my number 3 star will have to be Larry Brossoit. I'm going to go with Laurent Brossoit. And I think what happens, at least something that we saw in the series, he might give up an early goal, and then he seems to find himself, and he seems to settle in. And he did have a very good series save when they blew that 3-goal lead, and of course in the opener in this series. And so I'm going to make him my number 3 star, but I'm still not sold, Chris, that he is the goaltender that brings the cup to Vegas. And I hate to say that because, and okay, we've played one series. I don't get too, it's just like the players, fans, don't get too high, don't be too low, okay? Just be right down the middle. What are your thoughts? Who is your number 3 star?
I've got the same one. I got Brossoit as well for all the same reasons. And he looks the part right now. He looks confident. He's got a little swagger thing going, and he's in sync with the team right now. I really like, on top of his results, is his ability to play the puck in a very calm and quick manner. And honestly, mentioning the word quick, I wonder if Jonathan Quick has had some type of effect on him, because Quick is usually pretty decent at playing the puck. Not always, but definitely better than some of the other goalies we've had. Aiden Hill's had a few rough moments playing the puck not too long ago, prior to his injuries, of course. So you wonder if Quick gets a little bit of a stick tap there. Still a little concerned at times when Brossoit is going post to post. You kind of wonder how fast he can get there and how well he tracks the puck. But listen, what Darcy Kemper, right? Colorado Avalanche. He's a Stanley Cup winner. So
His best save in game number 5 was on that backhander by Lowry, which I thought was definitely going in because he gave up the entire left side.
When he went out of position,
Yeah.
he sold out a little bit and he got back, and he even flashed the glove on that too. Listen, he got his glove back in a good spot. It wasn't like he did like a windmill thing, and he had a little swagger there.
The number 2 star that I have is the captain, Mark Stone. The 2-goal game he had earlier. Of course, he scored again. He scored in the 2-man game. Him and Chandler Stevenson were cooking in game number 5. And VGK should have scored an empty netter, but Stone was unselfish, and he fed the puck back to Stevenson. If you're a team that cannot score an ENG, then don't play any games. Just put the puck in the net, okay?
That was pretty funny.
3 goals, 5 assists, and 8 total points for Mark Stone. Mark Stowe.
Stone had an incredible series. I'm going to go Jack Eichel on my 2nd star for just cracking the playoff mold. He looks the part. He had a couple very, very good games. The 2 power play goals, obviously, on Saturday. He's right for the playoffs. He's in a good spot and making a lot of great passes out there. So I like Jack Eichel as my number 2.
Or one pass in game 5 right through the stick of Alec Martinez. I was thinking about you, and we talk about those passes.
There was one more pass too that went through somebody, but yeah.
And the number 1 star that I have is
Are you going to do it?
MVP.
Are you going to do it?
Mm-hmm. Chandler Stevenson. 4 goals, 4 assists. I told you a couple days ago, who's the best player? Who's the best player, Cardasco? And I said the best player in this series is one Chandler Stevenson with a total of 8 points. And he compiled his 4th straight multi-point game, which ties the team record in all these years that they've had this team here in Vegas. Franchise record. He ties Max Pacioretty. So he's definitely playing better. And that line of Howden, Stevenson, and Stone, 2 games, 11 points the last 2 games. So talk about cooking. Who's Phil Kessel?
Where? It's crazy.
Okay, so who's your number 1 star?
Carlson.
He really is over Stevenson.
I think so. I mean, listen, Tony,
Why?
to be completely transparent, I don't got stats in front of me right now. Not that I ever do when we record this, but I just simply went off of goal scoring and
They each
good
have 4 goals.
contributions. Yeah, and that's fine. I just like Carlson stood out more because I think he was important early on when the series was a little more in the balance. Not saying what Stevenson did down the stretch is not important. That's certainly not what I'm saying. Carlson just a little more, the unsung, kind of forgotten for not a great regular season, and obviously for
Does he already have as many goals in the postseason as he scored all season with 4?
Absolutely. I'm sure it's pretty close, but it's good to see him back. All jokes aside, it is good to see Carlson contributing when it does matter, when it matters the most. You really want to see someone like Phil Kessel really get it going, and he's a game 5 healthy scratch in favor of William Carlson. And just a point I wanted to make really fast there, or not William Carlson, I'm sorry, slow down, Golick. Phil Kessel is a healthy scratch for Will Carrier. There we go.
Yeah.
So just a point before we jump into WTF in a little bit here. Bruce Cassidy said yesterday, the question they have to answer, it might have been this morning, but it was the question they have to answer is, does Will Carrier going back in the lineup make us a better team? Phil Kessel is a healthy scratch in favor of Will Carrier. I'm not saying I'm against the move by any means, but how does Phil Kessel feel about that right now? And maybe this is a great spot.
Yeah, they've had some discussions.
Sure, they have, and
he knows this is the twilight of his career. He's got to know. I mean, we thought that they should have scratched him during the regular season this year at times.
If it wasn't for the team, definitely in the last 50 plus games, their injury situations, you could have made a case at some point. You definitely could have, but still, it's the playoffs. It's Phil Kessel was consistently elevating his game, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, unfortunately, when it matters the most. I mean, has Phil Kessel played his last game as a Golden Knight?
Yeah. No, he'll play again. He'll play again in the series. Something will happen. He'll play again in this next series.
Probably.
Or if they go a couple more, who knows? But he'll be back again. And I think because he's a pro, I think he just took it in stride. But I did catch that as well about Cassidy saying we're going to put the best team on the ice that we possibly can. And this is where Cassidy doesn't care. I mean, I
love it.
This is his team. Same here. I've got a lot of respect for him for what he does, and that, hey, no one's bigger than this team. And if you're not playing well and you're not hustling, and maybe Kessel's hurt, we thought he might be injured, who knows? But he's not being effective. So you bring in Carrier, who didn't play very often in game 5, but that's his game back where he just starts to find his stride. Had like 2 or 3 hits, I thought, at one time.
He survived. He survived the game.
Yeah, exactly. He got through it. He's going to be a little sore coming up on Friday and maybe Saturday, but then he'll be back on the ice. Do we know when the next series might begin? Let's say if this goes 7.
Let's just assume. So let's look at LA right now. They don't play game 6 till Saturday, which means game 7 is Monday at the earliest. So at the very earliest, it's probably Thursday, possibly Wednesday, Wednesday, most likely Thursday. If everything wraps up in 6,
it's so rigged, man. Coming up next,
at least it took you until 18 minutes into the show to get that in there.
Coming up next, it is WTF. It is What the Friday. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us. We'll return with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a lot of fun on this show. And I almost had the prop bet with the backup goalie, playing. I thought if VGK scored the empty netter, we would have seen that backup goalie in the game. I was just screaming. And then the total was 5.5 in this game. And it lands on 5 because VGK cannot score the empty netter.
And they challenge.
They challenge. And that was I don't even know that was a hand pass.
100%. I knew it the second.
You thought it was
100%.
Why? Because Stevenson jumped up and down, even though he pushed his Wheeler's hands or whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
WTF to that. Okay, it's time for WTF. Things you liked, things you might not have liked, something that made you say, "What the Friday? What the Friday?" this past week. WTF for me, first one, traffic on the frickin' strip was just ridiculous. So I had to go down there. On Thursday, right before the game started. And from Tropicana
Sucker.
into the front of, I have clients in town, into Park MGM at the entrance, it took me over 30 minutes to go, a mile? It was just ridiculous. And then Frank Sinatra's been down to one lane. And the only thing I'm not going to.
There's people still getting out of T-Mobile right now.
Right. But the only complaint I have is to put traffic cops out there, because there's no courtesy to get in. Okay, all of a sudden one lane's closed and then no one's letting anyone in. And it's just, be courteous out there. WTF. Oh, that's it.
To back that up, I mean, listen, F1, cool, whatever. And, VGK, cool. And the Raiders, cool. And, other revenue generating entities, things such as marijuana. How come our school systems still suck? All this stuff that we're going through on the strip right now, now we're kind of going down a different path here. So, a very off script WTF for all this money coming in, but yet the school systems seem to not get enough love right now. So that's my most meaningful WTF I might ever have on this show. So a little less meaningful, but still pretty important, at least for me. So if you guys saw, we've been on about 18 minutes, 15 minutes. This water bottle was full. I even put like a little lemonade thing in there, but this was full. You want to know why it's empty so fast? Because I just got back from the watch party. I didn't even know they were having, to be fair. My kid had hockey practice at Lifeguard.
We're recording.
And they had a watch party outside. It was nice. It was cool.
All right.
I just chugged that water because there was no food trucks outside. There's no F&B at all. Beautiful night outside. I would have loved to get a beer or a soda or a water or something.
And with Hendu. Come on, Hendu.
I'll be a bad word if I have to go back into a Mackenzie River and wait a half hour because they take their time in there. I'll just say it like that. So Henderson, these watch parties are fun. You have probably the best venue besides going to a game, unless Dollar Loan Center does another one. Just one food truck, one beverage, and we're good. We're good. It could be something I don't even like. I'll eat it. I don't care. I'll drink it. I'll definitely drink it.
All right. WTF to that. WTF to the gentleman's sweep, as they call it, of course, in any sport. So did VGK let the Jets just win one game? Come on. Were they just being kind by giving them the opener?
I guess
gentleman's
so.
sweep.
Who knows?
WTF. WTF to the Wags wearing their Masters caddy outfits. So appropriate.
There's going to be a meeting about that.
And WTF, Lou Dog 777 for WTF consideration. Oh, okay. And we did accept this. Of course.
We accept it.
Yeah, according to our ballots here.
That's the way you said that.
Golden Knights organization. Why do you hand out white towels to the home crowd when you are playing a team that has perfected the whiteout? WTF. I like that one. WTF. He also added, NHL refs, so many missed high sticks and serious penalties, but you make so many ticky-tack calls. WTF.
WTF for everyone getting on the refs right now. And, Lou Dog, I'm not taking this out on you. You get about 1/3%, but, there's so many people that are absolutely all over the refs right now. And players miss shots. Coaches don't get the best line combinations out there. There is a human element to the game, which also applies to the refs. And these are professional refs, many of which have been doing this for many decades of their life, or even some for, most of their life once they basically learned how to skate. So, they can do it better than you. They can do it better than me. They can do it better than Tony. I promise you guys that. If they're going to miss calls, it's okay. It's fine. It's part of the game. When Nathan McKinnon gets tripped up a little bit, in that Kraken game, the worst thing you can do is start banging your stick against the glass like a baby, trip the ref, and then skate down while the Kraken get a goal from some no-namer I've never even heard of. So, bad calls happen. It's part of the game. Deal with it. Don't make a big deal out of this. Although Chad had the best idea with replacing the refs with Roombas, as long as there's cats riding the Roombas wearing referee uniforms. I'll take that. I will friggin' take that one.
And I think he was
all
serious.
day, Chad Wilk, all day.
All right. Our good buddy Wausau Aaron
Oh boy, what do you do
ESPN,
now?
well, ESPN has to do something about this broadcast team. At the 5:38 mark in the third period, Campbell Pahal just referred to the VGK needing to defend the G zone. That's different. What
G-zone?
sport? WTF?
What?
Don't know what the G zone is. What the Friday? How is it? This is from Tyler Hillman. How is it that Carrier can come back and instantly be a major factor in this dominant win?
Huh?
I love this freaking team, man. What the Friday?
What the Friday for saying Will Carrier was a dominant factor in the game?
He's better than ever. That's what they're saying. Vegas Tommy chimed in too.
Okay.
What WTF is that with Cassidy's challenge record from our guy Darth Tommy 774? The guy has a knack for he never misses a beat, and VGK fans are loving it. They seem to win again because the refs are going to be vacationing at Foley Wine and Food and that resort up in Santa Barbara for a month.
Let's be clear, Cassidy has nothing to do with these video reviews. It comes from, I don't know
upstairs,
who the fellow's
video
name
guy,
is. It comes
right?
from
I forgot his
upstairs,
name.
and yeah, and I'm sure, and again, I have no idea how these conversations happen. I'm assuming there is probably some sort of confidence level that the person who is watching the review, and they say, okay, I 100% this is coming back, or 80% this is coming back, or 50-50, I don't know. And then Cassidy might have to make a judgment call based off what he's watching. But Cassidy is simply trusting his eyes and ears above on that. That said, credit to the entire organization for having that. A good buddy William Conlon sent me some. I don't know if it was a WTF, but I'll do my best here. So it's kind of quiet right now. It's kind of quiet. I don't hear a whole lot because the VGK is the only one in the room as far as teams go that advance to the second round. It's a quiet room right now. So there you go, William. I hope I did you justice on that.
WTF, VGK on the power play, still not there. 3 power play goals, including the Stevenson one on Thursday night. 5 Winnipeg power play goals. That's a concern for me. That's a concern.
Especially play Edmonton. Edmonton.
Well, and yes, you have Edmonton coming up. That's converting on 60 some odd % of their power play opportunities.
That's it. It went down, huh?
Well, but Winnipeg is a team that came in about as lousy as VGK on the power play. Were there any penalties on VGK? I don't think there were any. Were there any Winnipeg power plays on Thursday night? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. There was 4-on-4s. There's a couple of those, but I don't think.
Yeah, there was no power play opportunities. None.
There you go, Tony. There's
So
another
rigged.
one.
It's
The refs gifted the series for the VGK. They gifted it to us.
WTF? What else do we have? Oh, why do we call him Larry Brossois? Is Laurent? Is that Laurent? Is that in French? Does that mean Larry? Why do we call him Larry? I was trying today. I know it just kind of evolved, but
didn't you start it? And I just kind of did. You start? And I went with it, or did I start?
Yeah, no,
I feel you started it. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know why we call him that.
Tony, you should just lie. Just lie. Just lie and say it's definitely a translation.
Okay, so Carrier had 6 hits total.
Absolutely.
-1 on
Huge
the ice.
Game.
2 shots. And guess what?
Huge shots.
He only played 9 minutes and 36 seconds. So he was a little bit on a pitch count and 19 shifts. So that's really good. What did you think about Winnipeg pulling the goaltender, Hellebuck, with about 8 minutes to go?
I thought so Lou Dog hit me on Twitter. I think I made a comment that they were going to on a Thursday's show about that. I'll have to go back and listen, but because I think it might have been in the locks and predictions. I thought it was going to be a 4-goal game. And I think I made the comment where they're probably going to pull the goalie with like 8 minutes left, just trying to, throw some Hail Marys in there. So, I mean, it's good. Listen, they're not giving up on the season. I mean, you're not going to get anywhere with the goalie in the net. Why not take a shot? You have literally nothing to lose. And it got interesting. It was a 2-goal game for a few moments there. And, fortunate for the VGK, obviously the challenge worked out. And if anyone had -2.5, you still got to cash your ticket. So there you go. If you had the over, you got screwed though. But that's
really screwed.
That's what sports betting is all about. Maybe I don't know if that's a bad beat on Sports Center, but it could be kind of close.
Okay, Edmonton and Seattle. Did they both close out the opponents the LA Kings and the Colorado Avalanche
50-50.
this weekend.
One does, one does not.
Okay, which one's which? Come on, man.
Colorado's toast.
Yeah, they look like they're toast.
I think Colorado is, and there's so much happening, and we're not going to go into it, but the story with the Shushkin,
yeah.
There's details about that now that just emerged through in the afternoon, and it's just so many distractions, and he's a good talent that they need on the ice, and I don't see that happening based on what details just came out right now. And it's an unfortunate situation, but to the hockey side of it, they are injured. They get McCarr back, but he's one game down, and they're still without Landeskog and everything. So it's a tough spot for Colorado. It's in Seattle. That's going to be one of the best playoff environments in the entire NHL, possibly the entire season. I'm assuming it's tomorrow night in Seattle. If not tomorrow, it'll be on Saturday with the scheduling and stuff like that. LA is going to find a way. They're going to extend that series to 7 games, I think. I'm not ready to trust the Oilers yet, although I've been some Kings fans. I mentioned Jonathan Quick might have been a better option for Game 6 than what they've had, and I'm getting crushed by Kings fans on Twitter right now. And listen, Jonathan Quick, his best days are behind him, but did very well for VGK down the stretch. Sure, it's a goalie-friendly system, fine, whatever the heck that even means, but so what? He did well for us, and if Jonathan Quick was still an LA King, was backing up right now, I think the team would play some inspired hockey in front of him right now, but that's just my amateur opinion.
Coming up on Monday, of course, for our everydayers, for those folks that tune in each and every day, of course, you will find us making more predictions. We'll talk about a second round if Edmonton advances. And we've got a number of shows that we have to make appearances on. We'll be doing a crossover with our friends from Edmonton or the Kings. Yeah.
I'll be on with Hal. I'll be on with Gil tomorrow.
Okay. So Gil's coming up too, and then we'll get a chance to see that. Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. And we thank everyone for tuning in. And it's been quite a ride so far for the VGK.
It's fun. We're going to round 2. Like, we're getting to talk hockey last year.
You want a WTF? Do you want a WTF on the way out? WTF. I said this past week that VGK could make it to the Stanley Cup final. I said that right here on this very show. I saw
like a big welt on your head. You didn't tell me how that happened. I assume you were concussed when you said it, so I just.
Oh no! I got hit with a Colasar shot up in 213.
So you were not standing in front of the net then?
No, exactly. From a man, Chris Golick, we appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be back again on Monday, network permitting, and we'll see you then. I'm Tony Cardasco. Have a great day, great weekend. We'll see you again Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Another shot.